Hey Precalc! So today's notes are about your formulas for lowering powers, which are two important formulas that you're going to use in calculus next year. So both of these formulas come from our double angle formula for cosine. That's sort of the way that we get these formulas, is by rearranging that. So we have sine squared x, we lower the power to a first degree cosine, so we have 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2. And we've got cosine squared equals 1 plus cosine of 2x over 2. So notice these formulas are the same, except that sine uses a minus and cosine uses a plus. So if I'm going to use these two formulas to lower my powers, I'm going to use substitution. Sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2. And since it's a quantity, I'm going to make sure to put parentheses around it. And then cosine squared x is equal to 1 plus cosine 2x over 2. And now I would need to FOIL these out. 1 times 1, 1 times cosine 2x, negative cosine, right? The nice thing about these, though, right now is I notice that they're a difference of squares. So I have 1 minus cosine 2x and 1 plus. They're the same but opposite, which means I'm going to get a positive cosine 2x and a minus are going to cancel out. So that when I FOIL this, I should just get 1 minus cosine squared 2x, because cosine times cosine is cosine squared. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, though, I still have a second degree, I still have a power here, and I need to lower it, so I have to substitute again. Now, something to know about these power lowering formulas, if you have cosine squared of 2x, whatever's in the parenthesis here, when you use your power lowering formula, whatever's here is going to double. So if it was x, it becomes 2x. So if it's 2x, it's going to become 1 plus cosine of 4x over 2. So whatever's in the parenthesis doubles. 2x becomes 4x. So now I need to sub that in here. I've got 1 minus 1 plus cosine of 4x over 2, all over 4. Please be careful whenever you're subbing in a quantity to always put parentheses around it, because I will have to distribute this 1 into the parentheses. So now I get 1 minus, oh shoot, and I need a common denominator here, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by 2 on top and on bottom, so I actually get 2 minus. I get a 1 there. I distribute the negative, so I get a minus cosine of 4x. This is all over my common denominator of 2, which is all over 4. 2 minus 1 I can simplify, so 2 minus 1 is 1 minus cosine of 4x. And then here, dividing by 4 is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, which is 1/4. And 2 times 4 leaves me with a denominator of 8. So notice, I did do a lot of work here, but I've lowered the power from 2's down to first degree of power. So I really have lowered the powers, which is going to be really important next year in calculus. Also notice that when you do sine squared times cosine squared, it simplifies down to something nice and small. So something that might be helpful for you guys on your problem that you're working on today, you had, let's call this example 2. And I think we were looking at, cosine squared times sine to the 4th. And we had just done sine to the 4th, so we subbed in what sine to the 4th was equal to. But I think, as a student in class, as Bricker pointed out, we could break that up as sine squared and sine squared. And then these two together, we just saw in the problem above, made a difference of squares. So when you do cosine squared times sine squared, like we did up here, okay, you get this nice difference of squares and you get things to cancel out, and it ends up being this kind of nice thing. It's really short and compact and easy to use. So if I were to sub that in, I have 1 minus cosine of 4x over 8. Sine squared, I can use my power lowering formula, so that's 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2. When I substitute, I need to make sure to put parentheses around these because I'm going to have to FOIL. And now just as a reminder for how all of this algebra works out. So 1 times 1 gives me 1. 1 times negative 2 cosine of 2x is a negative cosine of 2x. Then I get a negative cosine of 4x. And then a negative times a negative is a positive. And cosine 4x times cosine 2x, there isn't really anything I can do with those, so I have to leave them separated. So I have cosine 2x times cosine 4x. I can't make it like a 6 or an 8x squared or anything. I can't do anything with those inputs. And then this is all over 16, which I believe is a lot. It gets you the same answer that you probably got today in class, but a lot quicker. So, you know, hopefully these notes paid off for you. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks, guys.